Last week, we were offered one of the finest Thursday night football games you will ever watch. This Thursday, we paid our penance. An interception here in the second half and a three-point game for Brock Purdy. LA then went on to drive down the field, salt some clock, gain 3 more. A last gasp here from San Francisco ends in a sack, 12-6, as we have our first game of this NFL season with 0 touchdowns, just 6 field goals in total. LA bettering their playoff chances through 4 of their own. Joe Musso here in studio alongside Emory Hunt, Bryant McFadden joining the conversation. Any good movies, fellas? I don't know. No, plenty to get to here, and this just was not the cosmetic win that perhaps we thought we'd see from one side or the other with a season on the line. A lack of urgency. It seemed like Sean McVay did stay committed to his game plan on the ground in the second half. How did that pay off there in the second half of this one?
Paid off big, because if you put your coaching hat on, it's almost like you're saying, hey, make the plays that are there to be made. We saw many missed opportunities for San Francisco to make the plays on the ball for Matt Stafford, who tried to throw an interception a couple times in the first half. But we saw Williams on the opposite end for the Rams make the play that was there. He didn't drop that interception on a deep ball. Did a great job in hauling that one in over his shoulder like an outfielder. And that was the turning point of the game, because it stole the possession away from San Francisco and allowed them to go down and get more points to extend their lead to 9-6 before they subsequently scored again and again.
You know, I say this all the time in terms of going on a road trip. I never want to ride with my uncle, because he's an overly patient driver. And in the game like tonight, Sean McVay, he had to be extremely patient. Because if you were a coach and you started to press or get a bit antsy, there lies the opportunity to create something for the other team. And that's why I love and I believe Sean McVay is the best coach in the National Football League, because his ability to keep the guys together, be patient, and just weather the storm and wait for the appropriate time to take your shots. And his shots wasn't consistently, but when he took his shot, it was there. When the play action became a thing in the second half, it was there. The ability to rely on the running game. Emory, I know you love seeing what Kyron Williams was able to do. In the first half, they couldn't generate anything positive offensively, but he stayed the course and he was patient. He was patient. And remember in the pregame show, I talked about seeing something from their young studs on the defensive line. They showed up. They balled out. Kobe Turner was outstanding. He was the big-time anchor for their defense. And this is a team, it's hard to really, think back, but once upon a time, they were 1-4. They were 1-4. So you look at Sean McVay keeping everyone together, and then in a game like tonight where you had to go out and win it, he found a way.
He certainly did. It wasn't the prettiest way here. Kyron Williams, about 2 yards, 3 yards at a time, amassing a night that was really the integral part of this win, because even in the past game, LA left something to be desired. It's their first win without a touchdown since 2016. That was Jeff Fisher at the helm, taking down the New York Jets. On the other side of this one, sort of the summation of all that went wrong this season for the San Francisco 49ers. Brock Purdy was not good. Deebo Samuel calling for the ball throughout the week and didn't execute at the level he needed to, Mac. We had one specific play in this game. Early in the second half, Deebo looking like he's a free runner to the goal line, drops a ball. How big can a play like this be in the grand scheme of a game?
I mean, the pass was dead on, to your point. That was third down, Joe. The pass was right there in stride. Deebo, who is a very, very electrifying runner, yak is something that he's tied to. He probably could have scored. If he didn't get into the end zone, clearly he would have been able to put the San Francisco 49ers offense in a prime scoring position. In a game like tonight, I felt like the first team to score a touchdown would win this ball game. And up until that point, neither team had success in scoring a touchdown. They were relying on their kicker. That was a third down opportunity. Brock Purdy hit him in stride. Who knows what would have happened if he held onto the football. But one thing we do know, he did not. He didn't hold on to the football. They had to settle for a field goal. Just think if Deebo either scores a touchdown in on that play, or if that play set up the San Francisco 49ers to score a touchdown, they probably would have ended up on the winning end of this ball game. But to your point, those missed opportunities are things you cannot get over, especially if you're a team below 500.
Yeah, he catches that ball, it's a different game. He catches that ball and scores. It's probably the San Francisco 49ers game. To your point here, Mac, it's the Niners' first divisional loss in franchise history when not allowing a touchdown. They were 45-0 in games that they did not allow a touchdown in division. They lose this one largely in part because of that play. Not the only play, but a watershed moment in this game. What'd you observe from Debo on this night and throughout the season? Didn't feel like the Debo Samuel that we have grown to know and love.
No, because he usually is making these plays. And whether he's catching the ball and stiff arming somebody or outrunning someone to the end zone, I mean, he almost made the play of the game at the end on a kickoff return, setting them up in a position to throw a Hail Mary. But we didn't see the type of Debo Samuel that we have grown to know and love all throughout the contest. And to talk about you guys' observation of these missed opportunities, Debo was one drop. In the highlight reel we just showed, we saw 4 drop potential interceptions from Matt Stafford. So if they catch one of those and Debo catches this football, we're saying a lot of ifs. You know, if ifs and nuts were candy and buts, every day would be Christmas. So you have to make those plays that are there to be made. The defense did its job. You know, they just couldn't turn the ball over. They got stops in the red zone. They forced field goals. The offense was the failure tonight for San Francisco.
That in mind, let's talk about the quarterback here for a moment, because they have a big decision in front of them, and the offseason essentially starts now. Not mathematically eliminated from playoff contention, but you're looking at a less than a half percentage point for the San Francisco 49ers to find themselves in the playoffs. It's hook, line, and sinker. It's over. You're looking towards next year's roster, some of those cap casualties, paying a quarterback top dollar. What did you see from Brock Purdy tonight, and what have you made of him in the second halves of games? Because we've amassed some statistics here where this team in the second half, trailing points, stuff like this happens often for Brock Purdy.
You know, and that's a great observation, because you brought it up while we were watching this, the stats of him, you know, when he's down in the second half, because that has been the knock on him for his whole career. Oh, he's a front runner. Oh, it's a team around him. And we saw some good things from Brock Purdy tonight. We saw a lot of pocket manipulation, stepping up in the pocket, doing a great job of keeping his legs afloat and keeping his team where it needs to be, moving the chains a little bit more so than Matt Stafford. Threw the football well, I thought, more so than Matt Stafford at times. But then in the second half, when they needed him to make the play, that was just an ill-advised throw, because when they showed it from the end zone cam, it was your receiver and at least 11 Ram jerseys back there on the back end waiting for the football to come down. And we saw Williams turn the ball over. So it's going to have to be Brock Purdy playing the back end of the games like he tends to play when they have a lead. But that's what separates these quarterbacks that's getting these big contracts versus guys that you can say, okay, we could kind of move on from him.
And to your point, you talk about what separates players from getting big contracts at the quarterback position. Well, Brock Purdy's going to get a big contract. He's going to get what the market says he is deserving of getting. I mean, this season has really been a bad year, not for one person, but the entire organization in terms of all the injuries they've had to fight through. It's hard when you look at missing games with Christian McCaffrey not in the lineup, Brandon Ayuk, Trent Williams, you know, Elijah Mitchell. We're forgetting they're actually on the 4th running back. Isaac Guerrero is the 4th running back. I mean, think about that. So when you look at all the injuries, Dre Greenlaw, who came back into the game today, his first game back, looked really good. Then he exited. They've been dealing with so much. But Brock did not look good tonight. But he's going to get paid. He's going to get paid. Whatever the market says he's worth, he is deserving of seed. He is going to get that. Now, there will be a change in the personnel moving forward, but Brock Purdy is their quarterback moving forward. He is their franchise guy. He has exceeded the expectations. Heck, there were no expectations for Brock Purdy being drafted Mr. Irrelevant. They didn't even know if he could make the team. Better yet, did he make the team? He earned a starting job, and he's been nothing but a winner outside of this season. So this is a bad year for the entire organization, but I don't believe Brock Purdy did anything this season that should not warrant him getting whatever the market says he is worth.
Likely the case. Brock Purdy there, Brandon Ayuk coming off a knee there, Christian McCaffrey coming off of all of his ailments there, but a lot of those pieces and some household names going to be cap casualties heading into next year as they try and make space for that contract moving forward. 5 touchdowns, 13 interceptions. We're tied or trailing in the second half in his entire career.
He's going to have to play above the X's and O's in that regard moving forward, because earlier in the year, he did play rather well. The ball was coming out on time. He was going to the right guy. And even at times in this game, he had those opportunities. But you talked about the second half, 5 touchdowns, 13 picks. That cannot happen moving forward once he gets paid.
Well, it's now a coin flip for playoffs for the Los Angeles Rams, a 50% chance after this win to make those playoffs.